Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Ged O'Connor, head coach of the Trojan soccer team.
Yep.
And Jed, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
And we're here to talk about the season coming up here. And obviously, in today's society, there's questions all over the place on how things are going and where things are going. But one thing is you got a team on campus and you're getting ready for a season. So kind of give us an estimate of where you see the team right now, especially coming from last year to this year.
We have a team here, which is our number one.
Yeah.
We're able to train. We've got most of the players out on the field today. We're training this afternoon. It's a completely brand new program, given everything that's going on off the field and in society. And I think literally 50% of the players are brand new, whether they're freshmen or transfers. So it's being able to assimilate them into the culture that we already have, and having the returning players help guide them into doing what we're trying to achieve. So it's going great. I think we've got great kids, and it's just great to have them back on the field. It was a long time without them here.
And that's part of this is obviously you lost spring.
Yep.
And so that's that opportunity to get some practice and do those workouts and the training in the spring. How is that affecting how you prepare here? Because you didn't get started till school started, right?
Correct. We actually had 3 players come into Troy in January as high school graduates. We've got them to graduate high school early, and the idea was for them to learn in spring. Obviously, that didn't really happen. So everything is brand new now for all of the players. But in fairness to them, even given the conditions that we're going through, I've got not a single complaint. It's been going really well.
And of course, that's part of what the world is dealing with right now. That coronavirus culture is kind of put in there, but even more so on an athletic perspective, because everyone talks about the bubble that you hear from the NBA. It's become popular, but for sports teams, that is a part of reality now. Is creating that bubble and testing and all that. So how has the coronavirus kind of affected how things are going for the team in preparation this year?
I think one of the great things for soccer is that soccer's been going on in, say, Germany and England prior to what's been happening here. So the players have actually been watching games back in Europe, and they've seen games taking place and the professionals playing. So I think that's helped. We're just constantly saying, you've got to wash your hands, you've got to be distant. We've got the masks everywhere, they're sanitizing their hands. We have the gaiters that we're wearing in between drills. If the kids do that, and certainly they just make smart decisions away from what is the soccer bubble, it only helps things moving forward. So we just try and tell them, look, it's not difficult to do. It can be just boring at times, and it can just be tedious. And if we can get over that, then we've got a much better chance of getting negative tests and having the players out on the field.
And now, you mentioned earlier about having new players into the system, and you've got a couple of them that some of these new players that have had some fairly high level experience leading into coming into. Talk a little bit about that, about some of that high level experience you've got coming into the team. So
we have I think 4 or 5 players who've represented their country at various levels up to this point. The challenge that they have is getting into the American system with certainly the weather right now, because it's boiling out, as you can see by my face. The speed of play, the physicality. So they're doing great right now, and in a way it's going well. That normally pre-season for us is 2 weeks. Now we've got 5 or 6 weeks to help them get used to what we're doing. So that only helps out. But in terms of skill levels and quality of soccer players, just watching them play it's really nice to see.
And I was meant to ask that earlier. Having the season pushed back by the conference, obviously that gives you a little bit of that time back that you lost because of the coronavirus. So does that added extra time, is that how that's shifting and making that work better for the team?
It's in a strange way, certainly for our program this year, it's ideal. Like normally an NCAA preseason is 1 to 2 weeks. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to physically get the players ready. So being able to have a preseason period where we're not on the field twice a day, where we're just going out there once and so on, it's really benefiting us in what we're trying to do, but also the kids can rest and recover and sleep and eat right and so on. So that's been a blessing, with the whole Corona situation. But now let's just see what happens mid-September when we get going.
And of course, one of the things still some uncertainties about scheduling, but you've got to play the conference teams.
Yes.
The conference teams are there. So how is it going to work with the conference? How do you feel you're going to match up with conference opponents this year?
So it's changed this year because instead of playing everyone once, we're now playing half the teams twice. For me, we're very, very happy. I think out of the teams that we played twice, we only lost to one of the teams last year. So in terms of matchups, we're very happy with where we are. And now it's just a case of continuing to help the players develop and prepare. But by having this extra time, we should be able to do everything a little bit better than in the past. So we know what to expect from each of the other teams. I don't quite think they know what to expect from us because we are so relatively new. We'll see what happens when we
have
get playing.
that extra card in your back pocket there to be able to pull out there. So, well, here's hoping that all of this works out and we get a better idea and grasp of where we're going and where we're heading, and keep safe with the team.
Absolutely.
And good luck when you hit the pitch. And I want to thank you for joining here today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.